These notes are part of Unit 1, Intro to IM2, and they are called Equations of Lines. And class, as we go through this set of notes, it will give you good background and preparation for a worksheet you'll have after this. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We should have already covered a section in your flipbook that deals with slope-intercept form of the equation of a line, but if not, we'll cover this first and we'll do that afterward. Either way, you'll be prepared for the work for tomorrow's class. This first question, the slope-intercept equation of a line is, it is y equals mx plus b. This is something you saw in Algebra 1. It is always going to graph as a line on a graph. No curves, it's a straight line or line segment. And here's how we break this down. Y and x, those are the values that show up on your graph. You've got your x-axis and your y-axis. Those two numbers are going to determine where the points on this line are going to be. M represents the slope of the line, and B is the Y-intercept, which is basically the place where this line crosses the y-axis, or Y-intercept. Think of intercept like an interception in football. It's, boy, how do I describe that? You're throwing a pass and somebody gets in the way and takes the ball away from you. Well, if you draw the y-axis, when we talk about intercept, if this is a coordinate grid and we draw a line on that, intercept means this line, this y-axis, is getting in the way of, or crossing or touching our line. So that's why we use the word intercept here. Okay. Let's take a look at questions 1, 2, and 3. Question number 1 gives you an equation, y equals 2x plus 3. Notice it's in the same form as slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So what is the slope? Well, the slope is, it's the number that's next to the x variable. It's the coefficient of the x variable. So what is the slope? The slope here is 2. Now I like to write my slope as a fraction, so you could also write your slope as 2 over 1. Remember, any number, if it's put over the denominator of 1, it doesn't change the number. 2 over 1 is equal to 2, 7 over 1 is equal to 7, negative 5 over 1 is equal to negative 5. So this gives us our slope as a fraction. Either way is fine. And what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept here is it's called the constant, or it's the b value here. So this particular line crosses the y-axis at 3. So the y-intercept is 3, positive 3. All right, we should pause the video right now and try to do number 2 and 3 on your own. I'm going to continue, but if you would pause it and try it and then just check with the video and see if you're getting the answers correctly. Question number 2. What is the slope of this particular line equation? And here we go. The slope is the coefficient that's attached to the x variable. So the slope here is negative 1/3. And the y-intercept, or we cross the y-axis at positive 2. Last one. This is just a function. It's the same as y. You should learn this in Algebra 1. If we have y equals something x plus something, we could just substitute y with function notation. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next couple units. So, but this is still slope-intercept form. Here is our slope, which happens to be positive 5 over 2. And our y-intercept in this case is negative 4. We cross the y-axis at negative 4. One more thing to show you real quick. This is a positive slope. That means our line is going to be increasing as x increases, y increases. This is a negative slope. That means it is a decreasing line. As y increases from left to right, as x increases from left to right, y decreases. And this is a slope that is a positive slope, so we know that line is going to be facing up from left to right. Okay, now part of our notes here, we're going to talk about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. We may have already covered this in class. Parallel lines have the same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope. Okay, let's put this into practice. Let's apply this to some graphs. Number 4, graph the equation y equals 2x plus 3. Well, in order to graph this equation, let's identify the y-intercept and the slope. We see that our slope is, our y-intercept here, I'm going to highlight that in blue. The y-intercept is positive 3. And the slope is positive 2. The slope is on the x variable. It's the coefficient of the x variable. Slope is positive 2. And I'm going to write that as 2 over 1. I'm going to change it to a fraction. You're going to see why in a moment. Okay, let's graph this. Graph a line which is parallel and 2 units below this line. Well, number 4, they want us to graph the equation first. Let's do that. The y-intercept is 3. Let's put that on here. So our line is going to cross the y-axis. This is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. We're going to cross the y-axis at 1, 2, positive 3. We know that point is on our line. And now we know our slope is 2 over 1. Remember, slope is rise over run. So our rise is 2, positive 2, and our run is positive 1. So starting from this blue point, we're going to go positive 2 is my rise, positive 1 is my run. There's a point on our line, and I can do that again. Positive 2 is my rise, up 2 on the y-axis. Positive 1 is my run. There's another one. Okay, and now you've got 3 points on this line. That should be adequate for us to go ahead and draw that line. Let's do that. I'm going to line that up the best I can. Make it long enough here. Use a straight edge, please, class. Don't sketch this. That's messy and inaccurate. Use the edge of your student ID or a ruler or a straight edge. Please do that so we have nice lines on our graphs. Let's put this as an arrow because this continues infinitely in both directions. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and just make these points a little bit darker now on top of our lines so you guys can see them. Now some of you recognize that what you could also do is, if I went up 2, positive 2, and over positive 1, I could also go down negative 2 and over negative. I can put points this direction as well, but I don't need them. All I need is really 2 points to make an accurate line that represents this equation. All right, question number 5. Graph a line which is parallel and 2 units below this line. Well, we got to figure out some things here. We know it's going to be parallel. I should put that in red. We know it's going to be parallel, so you should know if parallel lines have the same slope, then that means the slope of the new line is going to be 2. Right, so the slope of the new line is going to be 2, or, of course, 2 over 1. Okay? And let's take a look at number 7. What is the y-intercept of the new line? Well, graph a line which is parallel and 2 units below this line. Let's go ahead and graph the line and we'll see this. 2 units below this line means take every point that was on this line and shift it down 2. So 1, 2, there's going to be our new point. I'll do that in blue. 1, 2, there's going to be our new point, and 1, 2, there's going to be our new point. Let's go ahead and draw that. I'm going to make that in orange. Here is our, oh, that's pretty messy. Let's try it again. Here is our new line. We'll put it right next to it. Use a straight edge again to make it nice and neat. There's our parallel line. Let's go ahead and draw some arrows on the ends because it is a line. And we've already figured out, we knew the slope was going to be the same because they're parallel. What's the y-intercept of the new line? We'll take a look at it. It's right here. The y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, is now at y equals 1. So our y-intercept is going to be at y equals 1. Don't just put 1 there, class. If you put y equals 1, then I know you're talking about the place where y is equal to 1 on the y-axis. Okay, what is the equation of the new line? It's no sweat. We know the slope. We know the y-intercept. That means our equation is going to be y equals, let's write this in a different color, y equals, what's our slope? Our slope is 2. 2x. What's our y-intercept? Our y-intercept is positive 1. Easy enough to find the equation of the new line. And question number 9 now. These are the ones that I found were very painful when I was in high school. But you need to learn how to do this. Number 9 says compare and contrast the two lines. Compare and contrast the two lines. Compare means tell me the ways those lines are the same. And contrast, tell me how those lines are different. Okay? So here's a common sentence. You can write this any way you want, but this is a nice way to write the sentence if you get this kind of question. The two lines are the same because they have the same slope. Same slope, comma, and they are different because they have a different y-intercept. Or you can even make it even more general. They are different because one line is below the other. And if you want to clarify this, one line is below the other because they have a different y-intercept. So, as painful as this might feel, it doesn't take a lot of thinking just to describe the things that are the same and the things that are different. One line is below the other because they have a different y-intercept. So you guys continue to get good at writing out your answers in sentences. Okay, I'm going to stop this video and we're going to start a new video and do the questions that start with question number 10.